Hopefully, there you go.
Oh, hello.
So there are some weather problems. Hopefully this works. We're going to be as jittery as the proverbial. It keeps telling me I'm perfect, and then it's... Am I offended? Am I slow? I'm waiting to see us appear here, and we might eventually. So we're just wittering on, but it's.
It really doesn't look good for the home.
There has been people, 5 people. Turns into total pear shape. Maybe we'll do it later on in the day or something.
I teach.
It says successfully connected.
Internet perfect now.
Yeah, but it's
for a second.
It's not working too well.
Quick, everyone send Reiki for a clear channel.
We can try. We can try. That's it. And we'll certainly go into turbocharge mode and start speaking very, very quickly. I don't know. I'm just still not seeing us, but I guess some people must be seeing us. Bits of us. Apparently it says excellent connection now, but I'm still not seeing a signal here.
There.
Which is kind of, interesting.
Disconcerting.
So, can anybody actually hear us? It's like a yes or a no. And can anybody actually see us? How about a yes or a no? Because I don't know. People are saying hello and happy Monday and all that fun stuff, but I've no idea. It looks like we've got a looking and sounding good now. Okay, all right. Well, let's
Yay,
see. Reiki didn't fix it. Let's see if it goes.
Well, that's it. Yes, everybody sent the Reiki and it was all good.
We can see on the chat. We can't see ourselves, so we're flying blind here. So we'll just witter on. We'll assume it's going to work, and that'll be okay then. So, yes, it's been what a crazy day yesterday weather-wise. I mean, people are saying, there's no such thing as an existential climate crisis. Hello. I read that West Point got nearly 8 inches of rain in a 6-hour period, which is a 1 in a millennium rainfall. That's 1 in 1,000 years. Except the thing is, we'll probably get the same thing next week or the week after. So we've broken things, unfortunately, and I hope we haven't left it too late to try and do something about it. We've been on that, whatever you call it, soapbox for most of our lives, trying to get people to understand that, the window of opportunity to actually do something is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. But it's the tiny little things that make the big differences, just in your everyday life, picking up litter. Not dropping it in the first place might be a good thing, but if you see a bit of litter there, don't leave it to somebody else. Why don't you pick it up? Why don't you put it in the recycling or whatever? Hey, if you're lucky it's a can, you got a nickel back on it. That's always useful. So do your part. Do your part.
Do your part.
So anyway,
what do I want to talk about today?
You're going to talk about all manner of astrological malarkeys, I'm sure.
I think it's not malarkey.
All right, you want to talk about all sorts of astrological stuff.
Well, I thought what I'd talk about today is the shifting of the nodes. So that's something that people aren't all that familiar with. And they appear to kind of go the opposite way. Like when we talk about the sun, we would go Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo. And when we talk about the nodes, they belong to the moon. So they are actually leaving the Taurus-Scorpio axis that we've dealt with for the last year and a half.
Okay.
Reality and trying to awaken the occult, if we look at Taurus as like the fixed earth reality, and Scorpio as connected to the secret.
Well, yeah, they're heavily into the hidden stuff.
Espionage.
Heavily into all that. That's our lovely Scorpios. They do love it.
And though we have had quite an entertaining time, I think the entertainment might get a little more entertaining because we're going to be moving to the Aries Libra axis, which means this whole kind of like pioneering energy of Aries. So I think there'll be a lot of like new things to think about or new ways of doing things. And Libra is the fairness and justice. So I think like accountability is another good word for these next 18 months. Oh dear.
No, it's all right. I refreshed the page to see if we can actually see it. And there you go. That made a big difference.
All right.
All right.
So moving out of like harsh reality and, uncovering to now exploring, pioneering, and finding justice. So that's going to be the theme.
It's may you live in interesting times, I think.
Yeah. So I want to talk not so much about that in particular, like how is it going to affect the planet or the people on the planet, but more of an opportunity to use this energy for self-exploration.
Self-exploration.
Right? Because I think that there are many, many people waking up and wanting to find the truth in spirituality, right? They're not just looking for answers. They're looking like for themselves, they're looking to find those parts of themselves that connect them, not just to each other, but to the self and to,
Isn't it interesting that isn't it is it Newton's third law? I can't remember if you can correct me on my physics here, but for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction, and it seems for all the polarization,
it's like karmic law as well,
and divisiveness and those people that are willfully ignorant and spewing hatred and vitriol. There is a balancing effect, I think, at the other end of the spectrum where people are going, hang on a minute, this ain't right. This isn't right. And they're realizing that they themselves, they start to go through this period of, I guess, intense personal introspection and reevaluating all their ideals, their, the things that make up their lives. And yeah, I think definitely, especially among young folk. I mean, when I read, and there's so many young folk come in, that they're really embarking on like a spiritual quest at this point. And I think that's a wonderful thing. Anyway, please continue.
Well, I think that we've been mind, body, spirit is kind of how things happen. We've talked about this before, right? That any dis-ease that comes into your physical body comes in either emotionally, mentally, or spiritually. And I think that we've done a lot of work as a society or as people to try to understand our physical health and well-being. Right. We've worked on getting chemicals out of our food and getting back to eating organically, or trying to. No, I think as a society we're moving towards self-sufficiency and being more aware of the food that we put in our body. The actual nutritional, physical body food. Right. And then I think there's been quite an emphasis on mental health, right? Since the 70s forward, there's been a lot of growth and work done in mental health, not just because of veterans, but in general, people have paid more attention to mental health. This is all like Age of Aquarius stuff. Right? So self-sufficiency, being more aware of how you treat the planet, all that kind of stuff. Permaculture, yes. And mental health. And now I really think that this shift is going to be about spiritual health and well-being, right? I think you're going to see this next section of time really be about spiritual health and well-being.
Okay.
So I wanted to just talk a little bit today about, I've talked before about nutrition, and we've done kitchen witchin work, and we've talked about, you are what you eat and all that kind of stuff. And we've talked about heart center and, emotional, mental well-being that way. But I'd like to talk about the other component of mental well-being, which is your spiritual health.
Well, holistically, everything's got to be right, hasn't it?
Holistic, right? Mind, body, spirit. So I think there are a lot of people probably who listen to us who would really love some tips on spiritual health. Right? I don't know. But I think that our audience probably is the type of person that wants well-being.
I think they get it.
Yeah, they want well-being.
I think when we come on here, we're preaching to the choir. If you know
I think so too. But you never know. Somebody new might be listening who doesn't know much about us.
That's kind of true, I suppose. Yeah.
All right. So what are things we can do?
Excuse me. I'm so sorry.
What are things that we can do to increase our spiritual well-being? What is Savannah saying?
Definitely would love more tips on holistic living.
Right.
Yes.
So we know that nutrition is really important for our physical body.
Yes.
Literally, we are what we eat. So one of the things that we are taught is to be mindful. Isn't that funny? Be mindful of where our food comes from, and to give thanks or bless the food before we take it in. It's really interesting, right? Why would that be? And when we talk about mental health or emotional well-being, we talk about the thoughts that we think, right? If we're going to focus on something positive and create joy and love in our heart, then that's the direction we're going to go. And if we focus on something negative, then we're going to get sucked down into the bad vibes, right? So we can see both of these things kind of have a link to them, right?
You do.
What we're putting in is what we're getting out.
Exactly. It is almost as if, and I mean, I've told this to a number of people that have come to see me, it's almost as if whatever's going on in here is connected via this chuffing great big light pipe to an overhead projector bolted on the top of your head. And it's putting that on the screen. So if you're old enough or young enough to remember what an overhead projector is, it's, in the days before smart boards and all that kind of stuff. What you wrote on the screen, everybody can see. So it's like what's going on there is what's projected out there, and it becomes also your filter back. It's what you see wherever you look. And it becomes this self-reinforcing feedback loop. If there's a message of hatred and hurt and anger on the screen, wherever you look, you'll see hatred, hurt, and anger, which serves to reinforce that's what's going on.
Right. Right. Okay. So we've established that our physical body works with whatever nutrition we give it. What we put in there, that's what we've got to work with, right? And we fine tune it to minerals and vitamins and nutrients and all this kind of thing to help us get where we're going. And we know that whatever we put into our emotional energy or our mental energy, our mental health, that's where we're going.
Right.
So spiritual health works much in the same way. But I find that when we get to talking about spirituality, people get hung up on which big good thing they believe in. Right? Like, my God is better than your God, or, or when I talk about being mindful or being grateful, I know this is a spam call. So being mindful or being grateful, people get too hung up on the big good thing that they have to be grateful to. Right? But I want you to try to differentiate and look at more of a universal energy.
The concept of spirituality, right? As opposed to religion, perhaps.
Yes, but I'm not saying that you couldn't be grateful to a particular big good thing. Like you could do your gratefulness to your big good thing. You could say, Great Mother Caradwyn or God Almighty or whatever it is that you believe in. You could certainly be grateful to that entity or God, Goddess, big good thing. But a way to really kind of open the door to spiritual well-being is just to do some exercises or some work within your own energy.
Start with the man in the mirror, right?
To connect spiritually, right? Because, whether we believe in one God or a family of gods and goddesses or just are agnostic and don't know what to believe in, there is this what I'll call universal consciousness, this energy of a big good thing. Whether you see that as a dude sitting on a chair with another dude to the side of him smoting people and answering prayers or whatever he's doing, or whether you just believe in nature. I'm saying none of that is a requirement for what I'm going to tell you about spiritual well-being, personal spiritual well-being. And the first thing to do is really to start to work on gratefulness.
Attitude of gratitude.
So you don't have to say, thank you, big good thing, for this beautiful meal. But you could say something like, I am thankful for all involved that gave me this beautiful meal, right? That's saying, I'm mindful of how long it took these carrots to grow. Or I'm mindful of the person who had to take the life of this animal and the life of this animal and the whole thing. So you don't have to say, God is great, God is good. You could say, I am grateful for all who made this meal possible. Right? And you could start to have your mindfulness talk about, what it is that you are grateful for. So what is it that brings you joy, happiness, hope, love, all the things that have taught you or brought you to where you are. I am so thankful that I have this wonderful, comfortable bed to sleep in. And again, you can focus that on a big good thing, or you can just focus that on the energy around you, right? I'm so thankful for this beautiful bed that I have to sleep in. And then let yourself feel the energy of those sheets or blankets or warmth or cool or whatever it is.
There's a magic there. And the magic is, it's this, when you have that attitude of gratitude, when you realize, they say count your blessings. Aren't I blessed to have this? Aren't I blessed to have that? When you start to focus on all the amazing things that surround you and are grateful for the little things in your life, you start to see more things to be grateful.
Exactly. Well, what is the word blessing? What is the word bless or blessing? What is that about? And then the next step towards spiritual well-being is to allow yourself to connect more deeply to others, right? So instead of living in your own insular bubble which is huge these days. So many people are still being fearful or unsocial or don't know how to get out of that habit of isolation. So connect more deeply with others. This could be stopping yourself and actually listening to what someone is saying.
There's a novel
Because
one.
sometimes, we are in our own space and we don't stop and really truly listen. It could be holding hands with someone. It could be just the power of touch or a hug. But try to connect more deeply. And try to connect more deeply with people who are a little different than you. Right? Like someone who maybe has a different perspective and you could listen to them.
Oh,
I mean,
I find that fascinating.
I know that sometimes it's very hard to deal with, the Cowans, the Muggles, but,
They're not all terrible people.
that can help you raise your spiritual vibration by learning this kind of tolerance or humility.
Well, listening, as you say, listening to everybody else. Hello again, Wendy. I take it you probably got kicked offline too. Yes, we had an interesting time. So
Reiki helped me to learn gratitude and practice it. Yes,
it is true, and it's interesting. Helena was saying exactly what I was saying about people equate spirituality with religion and religious philosophy, but there's a whole world of difference. There absolutely
right.
is.
But I'm not discrediting the
No.
good things of the world. I'm
Whatever
saying,
your personal path is totally fine by
that
me.
certainly can help you with spiritual well-being. Here's another big one that people find really difficult. To practice self-love.
Ooh, hey.
Right? We all know that negative energy breeds way quicker than positive energy. And again, now we're into that voice in our head that's the bad roommate.
Why did you do that? What were you thinking? Why would you trust that person? Why would you even open your mouth? You know nobody likes you. Me.
You look ugly in that. Why would you choose that? That color's no good on me. All right. So start practicing self-love. Find something that you think you do well or feel well about within yourself. Even if it's just simple words like, I am beautiful. I am lovable. I am whatever. So again, this self-love. And kind of going along with connecting to others more deeply, work on cultivating, building your emotional intelligence.
Oh, that's a big one. Emotional intelligence.
We all have logic. We all have intuition. But what is your level of true understanding? What is your emotional intelligence?
It's really funny. I was reading an article exactly about that, and it said these are the 4 words that the most emotionally intelligent people will ever use, and they're life-changing. And it stems, oddly enough, from a Japanese philosophy, which if I screw this up completely,
Reiki, right? Yeah.
if I screw this up completely, forgive me, but it's like ichi-e, ichi-e, which roughly translates as like, this is once in a lifetime. This moment right now, once in a lifetime, will not be repeated. It's unique in its very nature, and savor it. Savor what that moment of touch, that moment of taste, what that person is saying to you right now. Listen intently, and this really will help attune your emotional intelligence.
Being present.
And being present in the moment. And it really will, it's like, again, one of the wisest people ever to have walked the face of this earth was, under the guise of a comedian, George Carlin. He said, life isn't measured by the number of breaths we take, but the moments that take our breath away. And that is if you live in the moment, if you engage with it completely, life suddenly becomes so much more fulfilling. and it is this transition. And yes, it's spiritual. You know, to me, looking at a breathtakingly beautiful view of like the mountains and rolling hills in the distance and lakes and all that sort of stuff, it has this, it touches me deeply inside. And it is a spiritual experience, because I guess nature is my church. So this is just like attuning yourself to walk in that world, to engage totally with it, to be mindful, to look more closely, to listen more intently, you know, and to be quiet sometimes and just absorb it is a wonderful, wonderful thing. Anyway, I'm wittering on.
And you'll notice that as you kind of do these things, as you are more grateful and mindful about the things that are already around you, and as you connect more deeply to others and build your self-love and your emotional connection and your emotional intelligence, you will find that you do raise your spiritual vibration, that you have more creativity and more connected thoughts.
And curiously enough, more time.
And more self-discipline and ability to love on a deeper level. That you build faith in yourself and courage and hope.
Courage.
And things that will really begin to move you forward. So I just want to make sure I haven't missed anything. I actually made notes for today.
Danger!
Yeah.
That's it. Hi, Sag Girl, how you doing? So thank you. So sorry for the shaky start at this. It was, I guess, a lot of people are experiencing internet issues today. Certainly in the northeast, we had a bit of a time of it yesterday, and it continues today for those north and east of us. It continues to push up. So hope you all stay safe.
All right. So you might find that as you're building your spiritual wellness, that your intuition grows and you become more aware, that you, as you're working on your emotional intelligence, that you find you're more empathic or connected to others. Again, you might have heightened creativity or heightened dreams and visions, and you might feel a little more connected to the universe, and you might even feel that you find it easier to find your purpose or your path.
Well, it's because you're mindful that every action that you're doing has a purpose, has an intent, and has an impact. And I think that's the thing. It's realizing how important you are in this whole scheme of things. It's life-changing, because it's what you do matters. You matter. You make a difference. You truly do. Your simple, almost random act of kindness, you know, just holding a door for somebody, or just smiling at somebody and wishing them a really good morning or whatever, that might be all it took to stop them throwing themselves off the bridge. You know, that you pulled them from that place of despair just by that simple act of kindness. Because everybody has a story we know nothing about. And the problem is, if you're so wrapped up in all of your own problems, that's all you're focusing on. As I said, that light pipe, that projector on your head, that where you look, all you see is problem, difficulty. It's hard to see the good in a situation. And yet, when we start to see the good in the situation gets better, because we amplify that energy. It really is the secret of whatever you focus on, quite simply comes into focus. And where is your focus? Especially towards yourself. Because, you know, that's where it begins. You are the common denominator here. You can't extricate yourself from the equation. You know, you're part of it. And it's like we say, you can change nothing in this world except yourself. But when you change yourself, everything changes. And it's algebra. It is, because to balance the equation, you have to do something the other side, you know. So it's when you change, everything changes. It really does, because our perspective is our reality. That's actually what happens, you know. That's what separates it ain't about money. You know, yeah, it's nicer to cry in a Mercedes than it is in, you know, a damp bus shelter or whatever. But, you know, money itself doesn't make you happy. Happiness is, you know, I've met very, very wealthy people who have miserable lives. Miserable lives. And I've met people with next to nothing who have amazing lives. Because they have the focus of where it should be, you know. It's you know, the best things in life simply aren't things. They're not things. They're the meta, the outside of it, the relationship, the magical views, the beauty in everything. And it's there if only we have the eyes to see it. It's nobody's taking it away. It's still there. It might be occluded in the dark night and the trauma and the angst and the vitriol that's been thrown around, but you don't have to subscribe to that. You don't. You don't have to go there, you know. You can sing a different tune.
Right. So I would look at it as the physical well-being is kind of like the survival thing, right? What fuel am I putting into my physical body for physical well-being?
Yes, yes.
And that's kind of like a survival thing. If I lose my meat carcass, you know, nothing is going to happen after that. So I have to have physical well-being.
Yeah, well, certainly as long as you remain incarnate.
And then with our like emotional kind of mental connection, this is where we focus our intention, right? This is where we manifest, right? I am going to put this passion and thought and drive and energy, and I'm going to really make this happen, right? I am manifesting this. That's part of our mental, like emotional mental health, right? But our spiritual well-being is about the moment, the now, what I have manifested, what I am connected to, what I am thankful for, what I do know, that kind of thing. Things that you can't doubt because they are.
Yeah. And it's there if we have the eyes to see it. It's there, and
appreciating things that we can't doubt because they're there.
In a lifetime. 4 words. Once in a lifetime. This moment right now, once in a lifetime, won't be repeated. Yeah, we'll be here next week, whittering on, maybe about the same thing. Who knows?
Well,
but
hope.
It'll be different.
We don't know.
Ooh, I like that candle.
It's a year of the water rabbit.
W then. You're a water rabbit. I'm a water tigger. And tiggers are wonderful things.
So let's really work on mind, body, spirit. Let's really work on our physical well-being. Whether that means we're trying to build a little bit of exercise or change our food intake. Let's work on our mental health and what we're focused on and what we're manifesting and what we're trying to bring into our space and process, in or out, get rid of, out of our space. And let's work on our spiritual well-being. Let's meditate a little bit and connect to the universe. Let's work on our connection to other people and loving ourselves and our emotional intelligence and, what our perspective really is for where we are. Okay. That's my speech for today.
She says. She'll probably say it all again in a bit. I love it, though.
I'm just reading focus. Yep. Right, yeah. You can ask for higher vibration.
Just focusing on it is going to lift your vibration. It really is. You yourself raise your vibration just by, shifting your awareness and enhancing your emotional intelligence. And, these things are amazingly wonderful. I mean, I'm just looking at the Queen of Pentacles there. That was on the bottom of the deck. It's all about nurture and nature.
You already know the answers. You just have to...
Nurturing nature and the nature of nurture and the nurture of nature. It's just it really is. You know, it's nourishment. It's
And you know,
spiritual nourishment.
you may very well notice that there is a focus in your personal chart on Aries and Libra. Like, where do these things happen in your personal chart? Sorry.
Don't remember eating the frog, do you?
No.
Oh dear. If you've got a cough, I'll take over. I can just witter. I can witter on senselessly for a long period of time, as well you know. We're on to what?
Cards for people.
Are we? Oh gosh.
Well, we have.
We're doing all right.
yeah.
We're doing fine. We're doing fine.
We have 5 readings to do.
I'm sure there's going to be lots more people joining us. Although I do know that people are struggling with the intertubes today.
Yeah.
I know we are. So
Gilda
first?
is first.
Well, Gilda was here before we were, I think. I hope she's still here. So, Gilda, great bloody card. Yes. 6 of Wands. Got to love this totally. This really is the victory card. And you know, it's like everybody adores this individual. Even the horse here is looking, hey, dude, you know, you're all right. So, what is victory? What is victory? To be victorious. Well, that means, I guess, that good overcomes evil.
It's like a success, isn't it?
Vince Malum Bono. Literally,
Latin?
good. Yes, good wins over evil, and I think that's the key, you know. It does mean you have to get engaged in the process to be victorious. You don't just win by default. You know, it's an active process. But I think there is cause. Whatever you've been working on, whatever you've been trying to strive towards, it's going to come together for you. So long as you've done what was necessary, you will be victorious. And I think that speaks highly. And I will put it over to my dearly beloved, who will now give you a proper reading.
No, I think this is about achievement, you know. I think sometimes in our life we feel like we're herding cats, you know, and we make a plan and we try to, you know, put things in a certain direction, and things get kind of scattered to the wind and they just don't cooperate. But I think that this is saying things are getting better, and there is a prediction here of success, or like unification of idea and plan for this victory. So I want to say things are going to get a little bit easier for over the next 6 months, that you will feel like you are kind of in charge of your horse and driving things in the direction that you want them to go. All right, so that was Gilda. So next is Anna.
I guess you go first for Anna. Anna's on her phone because her internet's broken, apparently.
Oh, Anna. Anna, sometimes the more we grow, the less we fit in.
Don't think I've ever fit in.
And because this card is a pentacle card, or a coin card, I would think that this is focusing on career or financial things. So you may feel like you're kind of on the outside looking in, or that you just don't fit in with the mainstream of things, or you may be very put off by something, annoyed at a new rule or how something is going. But I think, you know, sometimes we look at 5s as struggles, but I think your struggle isn't about your personal success or your understanding of the work you're doing, or even the actual work you're doing. I think the difficulty is dealing with people who really don't get it. So maybe today's talk of trying to see from a different perspective will be helpful. But I do think that there's a disconnect for some people, that they just aren't getting it, and this is really making it difficult for you. But you know your shit, so don't let them get you down.
True enough. Yeah. So this is the one where, you know, what you think other people think of you is none of your business, honestly. Yeah. I understand in the field in which you make your living can be difficult to navigate politically, if that's the right word. There's you know, entrenched viewpoints and prejudices and yes, I know it sometimes feels like, you know, will I ever get a seat at the table, or am I destined just to eat the scraps from outside, or will I actually be, you know, will I actually be accepted for my skill set and my knowledge, and you know, and listen, the only person who's making the leper wear the bell is the leper, you know. So worry not so much what you think others think of you, but really start to reinforce your self-respect. As Lisa says, you know your proverbial. You know it better than a lot of people will ever know it. So don't have such a downer on yourself, and don't see it as such a struggle. Just profess. Okay, you have an immense amount of wisdom. Share it.
There you go.
and just do your thing, and by doing your thing, you will not be on the outside.
Well, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter where you are, because people will follow you. You know, so just do your thing, and stop having such a downer on yourself, love. All right.
All right. Savannah's up next.
All right, Savannah. Let's see what we got for Savannah. Dun dun dun. The sun. Ooh. You see, now everybody gets a good card from me. Hey. Well, I like this one. This is a super wonderful card. I feel that the true meaning of this is it is time to put your face to the sunshine and realize the shadows will be behind you. You've been through a lot. I know there's still some things to be fully resolved, but we're in the getting better phase now. We're in, you know, things are improving. We're moving away from the wall. Okay, we don't need to turn the horse around and re-engage the wall here. We're moving away from it. You're moving into better days, quite literally. So celebrate that, and just keep focusing on the good stuff. You know, keep the shadows behind you. All right.
It's so funny how different things jump out at different times. You know, I've seen this card 1,000 million times, whatever.
Stop exaggerating. A few times.
But Savannah, I feel like the message here is about color therapy for you.
Oh, interesting.
And you see this little guy is carrying this giant orange flag or orange blanket. So I feel like it's a message there. Not just that orange is spleen chakra or physical body stuff, but I feel like digging deeper into what the color orange means, you know.
Just don't make a poem with it.
Courage and strength, and maybe you don't even have any orange clothes or, you know, an orange blanket. But you could do color therapy by closing your eyes and visualizing how orange feels. And I feel like there's a message in this card for you today to be more mindful of color and work a little bit with the energy of orange. I don't know why, but that's what I feel.
Savannah says she picked up a Witchy Wonders finally the other day, and she's going to do it today. There you go.
Oh.
Well, there's the thing. So who have we got now?
Next up is Helena, but I go first. Helena Rose.
Okay. Yes, you're not wrong. Better.
This, I'm going to say, is the inspector. Right? So, many times when we talk about this card, we say, oh, come here, come here, come here, not too close. But I feel like this is part of you awakening your emotional intelligence.
We're just talking about that.
Yes. So I think you're going to open up a little bit, but I think you're also going to keep your filters and your boundaries, right? So you can really connect to other people and really focus on listening to someone and building your emotional intelligence without compromising your position, right? So I would say being open and awake and mindful is kind of a theme right now, but also being cautious and filtering out what doesn't belong or serve you. And I feel like you're going to be able to do this without judgment.
I like this card too. I mean, it's a bit mixed signals. Come here, no, hang on. Come here, no, go away. So, but I do feel that this is a card very much of discernment. And certainly if you've been following us, and I know you have, it's almost been the story of the last month or so has been very much about heightening our discernment, filtering the wheat from the chaff, really looking a little closer and not just taking things at face value. Superficial, yeah, it looks great, but
but not like judge and jury.
No, just discernment.
Yeah.
Discernment. Being able to yourself personally employ critical thinking and emotional intelligence to be able to discern what is right, what is wrong, what is proper, what is good for you, what is not so good for you. And very much it is about personal discernment. It's not about passing judgment. This isn't that. This card almost is like the human equivalent of a firewall. Stateful packet inspection, if you will. What's going on here, kind of thing. So it's good. It doesn't make you standoffish, because at all times, if you're gracious and continue to be charming, then there is no problem. But it's important to know when to say no. And it's important to have your boundaries, to have your lines which should not be crossed. Because to just erode those, to allow those to be trampled over, is not really self-respect, So I think this is a good card for you in terms of discernment, and yeah, as long as it's coupled with the good stuff, the emotional intelligence, the critical thinking, it's all good.
All right, Sag Girl, I'm afraid we only do readings for our channel members right now.
You can become a channel member.
You could. So you could like, comment, and subscribe, and then you'll find a little button that says join. And if you join at the $4.99 level, you will get $5 in karma points.
That you will.
So you actually earn a penny.
You make a whole penny profit on the deal.
And then there's also a $20 level that you could join at, where you get into a different section.
The super
of our
secret section.
Station. But we will do at some point this month a live free readings thing.
For sure.
We just have to knit a hole, because it's kind of a little crazy.
We've lots to do, but it's...
So we have one more channel member to read for, which is Cass.
Oh, hello, Cass. See, everybody gets wonderful cards from me. That's all I'm saying. This is the opportunity, Cass, for a mutually healing relationship. And it's okay, it's okay if that should come about. I know there are an awful lot of mixed feelings there. I understand that. There's a lot of... I almost want to say like a feeling like that would be kind of feeling guilty in some way. I get it. I understand that. But that's not the case at all, you know. You're still alive, love, and so it's important that you do live, you know. Huh?
I'm like a glamour don't today. I'm sorry.
I can't do a thing with my hair. Look at the humidity. Look what it's.
Oh, I'm just so tired today. It's crazy. Anyway,
I don't know, but it is. This is a wonderful, wonderful, a wonderful card in every respect. It is the minor arcana version of the Lover's card, but it means so much more because there's a lot more baggage in the Lover's card than there is in this. This is far more a pure intent, and it very much is that simple, mutual, I care for you and this is for you. Your needs are more important than mine kind of card that comes across. So this is, the very much the healing thing. And I love the winged lion here, because this is, we were talking about lions just this morning, Welsh, Llw is so Llywelyn. We're thinking about, what is that? Llywelyn, which is our publisher. Interesting. But it's a lion, but lion and lake. But what, a lake of what? What would a lake contain? And then we started digging into like the Menai Bridge. This is like one of our typical, random mornings that we have. And like how Wales was formed with the glacial parts, as it was, and these hollows, and the Menai Straits obviously filled with seawater as the glaciers retreated. But a hollow that contains something, a lake, and deep it is. The Llyn Llywelyn, for example, which is also takes its name from a lion. Very deep, very deep. And it's kind of so interesting that this depth of emotion that we've got connected with this winged lion here, and
courage and heart.
Yes, and basically taking flight, allowing your emotions to because yes, there's emotions can be painful and hurt and sad and all of that, but also on the balancing end of that is unbelievable joy and love and acceptance, and so that's all I'm saying.
Okay.
I don't know what I'm saying, but I'm saying a house on a hill with a river running past is a really, really good omen too. So there.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, no, it's like, I'll have to formulate what I'm going to say because I want it to be in reading form. When we look at these two characters, and we're told this is the soulmates card or the soul buddies card, at heart level, they are exchanging cups. Right? So it looks like they're about to exchange that knowledge of that depth of soul. And I feel like sometimes we get hung up in thinking too much about the word soul mate, and we don't think about the bigger understanding, soul buddy, right? So sometimes soul mate relationships are very, very intense, but they are also fraught with the balance of that, which means for all the good, there is also an upset. But soul buddies are more like connecting to people in your little cluster. People who get that you need to fill your own cup before you can fill somebody else's. Or people whose energy is easier to understand. So, I don't know, I just feel like this card is saying you may find a different soul buddy cluster. Like a new social life or a new group of people that you're going to talk about some pretty weird stuff with. And I think it's going to do you a world of good. It's going to like rebuild your connections.
Bless you. She's allergic to me. by the way,
No,
just in case.
the allergies. This
Yeah, it's me.
water has just created a lot of leaf mold, I think. Anyway, I feel like it's a very positive card. I see that, symbol of Mercury and healing. So I think that through this new communication, there's a lot of energy for healing. So I think it's a really good card. And I think it's okay to expand your circle.
Love it.
All right.
Love the double caduceus on it as
All
well.
right, so now we have card of the week.
Card of the week. We forgot that, didn't we, last time? She pulls all the difficult ones.
Well, I think this is about discernment.
Again!
There's been a lot of that word these last few months. Every day is a choice. We can choose to feel well. We can choose to go back to bed. We can choose to bring happiness, or we can be miserable. So I think this week, card of the week, is about making better choices. Right? So stop, look, listen, make better choices.
In the words of Yoda, choose you must. Choose you must. However, I will tell you, not everything as it appears, nor is it necessarily otherwise. So again, discernment is key. Do not be too hasty to make a choice. And don't necessarily go for the all that, let's go and get the glittery one, I'm reminded, pardon me, of Indiana Jones, or was it the Temple of Doom, where he's hunting for the Grail or something that. And having gone through this incredible obstacle course of booby traps that, everything's designed to kill you, he gets to the Grail room and, he chooses the one that is just a rusty pile of junk. But that's the one, see? That's the one. Because not everything is exactly as it appears. A card very much about discernment. We have to make choices every single day. But it's okay to seek more information, to dig a little deeper. Impetuosity, which is like being the prodere, is not necessarily. Don't be the cause for anxiety. Try being a little more prudent, cautious, but not to the point where it restrains your life. But good discernment. So I think that's a good one. Just because somebody shouts something from the rooftops does not make it true. Okay. Just
right.
be
the
mindful.
loudest voice might not be the clearest. All right.
Pay attention to the quiet ones, I would say. Yes, indeed.
All right.
So where does that leave me?
I'm very grateful that we had internet.
Thank you for fixing it. For all of you guys who sent the Reiki and like Magick, it's suddenly, because it was like up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down.
Yeah.
No stream, got a no stream. Yeah.
Oh, funny.
But we've since that point, it has been perfect all the way through. So thank you so very, very much for bearing with us while we got off to a little bit of a shaky start. Now listen, you lot in the sweep team out there, if you haven't mashed the like button, would you do so already, please? And would you, after we get off this broadcast, would you just do us a favour and share this everywhere? Post a link to this and say, hey, they're on live, every week. Maybe you'd like to come check them out, because
they talk about weird stuff. It's for world domination.
Well, not for world domination. It's not really dominating the world. It's restoring balance. We're trying to bring about restorative justice, climate-wise. Relationship with the land, getting it all back together, which is the whole ethos behind Celtica. And it has a new fancy word: permaculture. But the first thing of permaculture is observing. So anyway, we would love it if more people observed us, because it's going to make the job of raising the funds necessary to make this happen, because that's all that's stopping us is money. It's a very small thing. There's plenty of money in the world. I mean, okay, like 1% of it, 1% of the people in this country have like 99% of the wealth, but that aside, there's still a bit to go around. So it would be absolutely lovely if more people got to know of us, and and then they could start to, contribute to the cause, and before you know it, it becomes a reality. So thank you in advance for your kind assistance. We appreciate it, and we appreciate you being here with us today, and I think that's probably us. We'll see you soon.
And we'll see you soon.
Yes, we will.
Peace and blessed be.
Blessed be. If I can get my mouse to work. Bye. All right.